Hello, viewers. What a wonderful moment. All right, I'm Sam, an AI specialist. I'm sure most of you are familiar with me if you have watched my videos. They're quite insightful, very educative. In today's section, we'll be talking very briefly on redundancies. So, when we talk about redundancies, we're basically talking about the addition of extra words. So, sometimes when we write, we actually add unnecessary words to them. In fact, this helps me to talk about three classifications of students. Now, I want to quickly talk about three kinds of learners as far as the language is concerned. So, we could talk about misinformed students or misinformed English learners. We could talk about the uninformed English learners. Then we could talk about the informed English learners. I think this error is very much popular among misinformed students or misinformed English learners. All right, they grew into learning that they could actually combine two words that produce the same meanings. Take, for example, you say something was a terrible tragedy. That doesn't make any sense, all right? Terrible tragedy. Think about it. This actually explains this tragedy. When something is terrible, it's actually tragic. So, terrible, tragedy, both of them have the same meaning, and that was so wrong. All right, think about another example, true fact. When somebody says, oh, it's a true fact, that's also wrong because what is a fact? A fact is something that is true. So why saying true fact? Like I said, you get this from misinformed students who have been misinformed. And think about it, some of them are also uninformed, so they are not even aware, and that's why they commit such blunders. Another example we have here is free gift. Quite funny, we get people say it was a free gift. Of course, when you say something's a gift, of course it's free. So you cannot add free to eat. We call this an extra word, or this is technically speaking, we say redundancies. When we talk about redundancies, we're talking about the addition of an unnecessary word. Think about the next example, future plans. When you say these are my future plans, what are plans? Plans are activities later for the future. So do we need this? Of course we don't. So why do we have to say future plans? All right, it only represents misinformation. It only shows that we must have been misinformed, and that means we're uninformed. All right, so what is this video doing? It's a kind of curiosity video. We're trying to help learners understand that some of the stuff they have learned are actually wrong. Okay, all right, then the last example I've got here is final outcome. When you say something, it's, well, what was the final outcome? I think I remember growing up, it's a common phrase. It was a common phrase. What was the final outcome? When you say outcome, you're talking about a final decision. So the final, it's not necessary, it's a redundancy. All right, that's a redundant word, and that's exactly what we're actually saying here. All right, so like I said, it's going to be a very short video. Remember, but very, very inspiring. We're actually talking about how to reposition yourself from the misinformation you might have had, or perhaps you begin some kind of wrong information. Now you have the opportunity to relearn. Think about it. In summary, we spoke about redundancies. Why are you adding extra words? Do we need the extra words? We actually don't need the extra words, all right? Terrible tragedy. I'm sure you're not going to say that anymore. All right, true fact. You wouldn't say that. Free gift, you wouldn't say that anymore. Future plans, final outcome. And then you can also think about many more examples. You can actually read out to get more examples. There are so numerous examples. Sometimes you hear people say reverse back. It's one of the examples, but it's not on the board. When you say, oh, can you please reverse back? It's one example. Somebody say, oh, black ebony. When you say someone is black ebony, that's also a redundant expression. All right. So you've got so many examples of these stuff. All right. So how best can you help yourself? You could just read widely about redundancies, and as such, you're going to equip yourself. All right. I hope this video has actually helped you. I'm going to see you in the next section. Bye.